Wow. Well, these radishes are looking really good, and that's surprising. How you going? I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and I'm back. We're back from our USA trip. I got my Vegas Nike hat on, got it specially made, and I'm feeling a bit crook, to be honest. Got the lurgy while I was over there, but it wasn't until the end of the trip. The purpose of the trip, I was invited to go on a tour over in LA at YouTube Spaces, and I jumped at it with both arms and legs, and it was a really nice day out for me to tour around the spaces and see what there was to offer and to get a whole heap of advice from several professionals there. The food was amazing and different to what I'm used to. And that's what I mainly love about traveling. Yes, you can see all the sights and everything. And a family holiday, you might go to Disneyland or whatever, or you go to Vegas and have a bit of a flutter. But for me and Nina, and even our boys, we tend to focus in on the food a lot. But for us, you know, because we grow our own food, a heck of a lot of it, it's just a real passion and interest of mine. That's the type of things that really interested me, was seeing the different foods on offer. Yeah, so I'll talk about that soon. How did the property fare while we were away? Not too bad. It's a bit overgrown, which is fine. That's normal when you don't mow the lawn when you're away. There were some disappointments. I set up a few watering systems while I was away to run off our pump and our tank over there, and for the most part it went fairly well. I had set the timers to go on once a day because we're in spring here now in the subtropics, and typically we usually have a very dry spring and it can be pretty harsh on the plants. The problem was we had a blackout, an electricity blackout, which, you know, it doesn't happen all the time but happens sometimes. And when that happens though, the electric pump often needs to be reset, and to reset it you have to push a button on the side and then it just primes and it's right to go again. But if there's no one around to reset it, it won't pump out. So when the timers went off, it wasn't watering the garden. And I can see by half the tank was empty, I could see that it hadn't watered for about a week or so. Ironically, the day we got back it started raining, and last night and the night before we've had heaps of rain here, probably 60 mil at least of rain, which is really ironic. You get back, I quickly watered as much as I could because a lot of the plants were suffering. Several plants were dead. Tomatoes were at the end of it. Tomatoes were falling off. We're going to use all of them though. There's lots of ripe tomatoes now that we can utilise in our cooking and that, but the tomatoes were all gone. Like I said, surprisingly the radishes did very well. They're doing great, but several other things were suffering. Our passion fruits, a lot of salad crops, some of the brassicas and stuff that we'd planted in the new garden beds just along the front here, the raised garden beds, they didn't get enough water, and some of the seedlings didn't come up or didn't germinate like I expected. Some of our chili and capsicum pepper seedlings didn't germinate, and that was because for that last week it was dry as hell. Probably some good dry spring winds as well never helped, and so it was a bit disappointing, to be honest. I guess this is where maybe a solar watering system would be better to water the garden while you're away, to negate the electricity thing, or a self-priming pump. I don't know. Maybe I just need to update my equipment. I did my best though, and at least we got sort of the garden watered for half the time we were away, which kept everything mostly alive. So yeah, we didn't lose any fruit trees or anything. They're quite settled, even some of the small ones. So it wasn't that bad. I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing that was interesting was I noticed the electric fence was down. I could see that by the monitor. It was flashing like there was a fault. When I went around, I saw that there was several bits of debris that had been blown in or whatever, or fallen from trees, and it had not shorted out. But what it does is when some debris or grass or whatever gets on the electric tape, it then drains through, and if you don't remove it, it'll drain the battery flat. So I turned it off and let the battery recharge, and then yeah, that seemed to have fixed it. And obviously I went around and cleared any debris and pulled any grass, so I've got to remember to keep that clear. Luckily we got no chickens or anything at the moment. We've just got quail, and I had them fed and plenty of water for the couple of weeks that we were away, so they ended up fine. They're happily going along as normal, but nothing can get them in that tight mesh aviary that we've got them in. So apart from that, everything's going fairly well. I just got a lot of work to do as usual. I've got to still keep preparing those long raised garden beds that I was building before I left. I didn't get a chance to finish. Got to fill them with soil. Obviously got to go around and do a lot of garden maintenance. Got to do a lot of trimming and whippersnipping and mowing, but that's normal, and because we're coming in summer, the grass is starting to take off and you get that whole extra bit of maintenance when you're living on acreage. My computer's working now. I've got a new computer. I shouldn't have too many glitches now, hopefully. If you watched my previous videos, you'd know that I had some computer troubles. So hopefully I can start knuckling down and bringing you guys some more content. So to the USA trip, I have never eaten so many burgers in my life. Just seemed to be a burger place everywhere you turned. In-N-Out burgers were our favourite. I don't know about you guys in the US, but yeah, I think McDonald's looks like it's a thing of the past, and In-N-Out are just packed out wherever you go. And I can understand why. It's very simple, very fresh. That's what I like. It's sort of like, gave me that feeling of the homemade burger that you'd make at home here. And even though, you know, it wasn't overly exciting, the burgers, just the simplicity of them, I think, is what people like to go back to, and people, I think, are longing for a good simple food. It's exactly why we grow our own food here, is because you can easily just have a simple feed out of your own backyard when you want to. And we really, by the end of the US tour, even though it was some fantastic and great food from San Francisco, you know, eating the crabs and the chowders, through to Vegas with, you know, going and eating a Gordon Ramsay burger at Planet Hollywood, which was an amazing experience, right through to LA again, eating up in Hollywood and all those really nice little quaint restaurants, a little bit overly priced, but again, you're experiencing the Americanized food, the sweets, and not that I'm a big sweet eater, but it was just a really great experience overall. Lots of good, fresh ingredients. And although it was fantastic, by the end of the trip, we were just craving to get home and start to get stuck into our own homegrown produce. So we're hooking into it at the moment. And there's lots of fresh produce here. Being spring in the subtropics, there's plenty to choose from. And we've got mangoes coming on now, peaches and plums, the stone fruits. Lots of things flourishing and growing, and it's that in-between period where you can still get your brassicas and your salad crops in before it starts changing into summer and those salad crops start dying off. Pardon my voice, I am really worn out with this lurgy that I got in the last several days. You should have seen me trying to manage my way through the theme parks like Disneyland with a crook stomach and a runny nose. You reckon how hard those roller coasters were with the boys? It's just shocking. The kookaburras. Yeah, thanks. Well, at least they found the story funny. Yeah, so it wasn't easy at all the last few days for me. And then travelling back, you know, you got, you know, a good 15 hours or so or more of travelling, and it's an overnighter and you can't get any sleep and you're all clogged up and you're landing and taking off again. And yeah, so it wasn't easy, but don't feel sorry for me because I had a great trip. We all had a great trip, although Nina twisted an ankle at the Grand Canyon. Jeeps, that was amazing though. Not twisting the ankle, but the Grand Canyon. But yeah, she nearly fell in, but I jumped and saved her. No, it wasn't quite that dramatic, but yeah, she'd done her ankle, didn't really fall in or nearly fall in, but it wasn't good. Swollen ankle for a few days, poor thing. And so she was suffering too, trying to get her way around Disneyland and that in Vegas. Trying to do shopping in Vegas was hard with hopping along on one foot, that's for sure. but she managed and she got through it. The American people, fantastic, very friendly and great country. Yeah, this is my second trip to the USA, but the first time I went there was only in the early 90s, and it was for work. I know this time was a little bit work and mainly recreation. The first time I went was totally work, and it was on my way to the Western Sahara Desert. There was an operation there when I was in the military, so I didn't get a lot of time to play around and meet the American people, whereas this last trip was totally full on and fun. We really never had a bad experience. Everybody was very friendly and helpful, and yeah, that's the American people for you. My trip to YouTube Spaces in LA was a fantastic day. I was escorted around by Andriana from YouTube, and she really made me feel welcome and showed me all the different areas. You know, there's about 600 staff at YouTube Spaces in LA, and it's a huge area with all these editing rooms and sound rooms, and these are all free to access for YouTubers like myself. Obviously, I can't just pop over there all the time and access those areas for editing or filming or whatever, but a lot of YouTubers do around America have access to it, and I think it's a fantastic, and I found it really interesting, and I got a lot of great advice from several people there. So it was a really great day out. I'd like to really get into the heart of the USA rather than do just the tourist things, but we'd need a little bit longer to do than that, and also perhaps not take the kids next time. But this trip was a short trip aimed at giving the boys a special trip away and having a sort of family reset moment, and I think it really paid off, and yes, I got my YouTube trip in as well, and all together we just had a great time. Now that I'm back, I've got to work on finishing up the series that I was working on before we left for the USA. You might have heard me talking about the growing in small spaces type series that I wanted to bring to you guys. That's finished, and I've just got to now put my finishing touches on those videos. There's 5 videos in that series, and I hope to bring that out to you in probably November. Maybe the end of October, but most likely early November, 5-part series. I think you guys will enjoy it, but I've got a little bit of work to do to tidy that up. I'm going to have a very busy few months before Christmas. I've got a lot of work to do on the property, and I'm going to be filming most of it. And I'm really looking forward to finally knuckling down and getting several videos out, hopefully more than 2 a week if possible, but if not, at least 2 a week. That's what my aim will be for the next 3 months, is to really pump that up. So I think we'll just wrap it up there. We had a great holiday over in the States. The yard fared okay while we were away. I've got lots of work to do. As you know, we've still got to add a lot of chickens and poultry back after the fox decimated the rest of our flock. I've got a lot of gardening work to finish off, and I've got a lot of videos that are in the pipeline that I want to finish off and finalise and bring to you guys. So there's plenty to do yet before Christmas, and I'm keen to get into it, even if I am feeling a little bit crook. Feeling sorry for me? So thanks a lot for watching. Watch this space. Bye for now.
Did you record that? So loud. It's making the car go off.
Made the car go off. That might have been the finale, that last bit. I don't know. Well, there you go. What do you think of that?
That's awesome. Good. So slow.
Check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vegas.